Hello, crafty peeps. Welcome back to my channel, Crafty-ish-kristyn. Today, we're gonna have a little whip and chatty rant. What is a whip and chatty rant, you may be asking yourself? WIP, W-I-P, stands for work in progress, and a chatty rant is me chatting and ranting about the goings-on in my life for the last week. So today, I'm going to be working on Layers of Ocean Magic again. It is by Calming Canvas Designs. I am an affiliate with them, and there is a link in the description box below if you would like to use my link. And I also have a coupon code if there are not any other, really good coupons and sales going on. Let's see, what else? I'm using my little pen from Jim's Pen Shop on Etsy. I decided I was going to be fancy today because I'm still reorganizing all my supplies. It's a mess. This was in the Add More Zest Advent Calendar. So we're going to use this. Oh, there's Duncan. He's helping. Thank you. And I have a extra... Get your butt. What did you do? All right, I don't know what happened, but I'm pretty sure the cat's butt either bumped my phone or it stepped on the TV remote, causing things to completely short circuit. So I don't know where I left off, guys, but I actually got sent some release papers. They are by Lona's Designs on Etsy, and can you just handle the ridiculously cuteness of these release papers? They are like the more matte, buttery soft release papers. You get 12 of them for $10, and they are huge. Look at that. That's my hand. So I usually tend to open up bigger sections when I am working on a diamond painting, because especially something like this with so much confetti, I figure I'm gonna miss ones anyway, but if I can, maybe not change the color in my tray every 5 seconds, that'd be great. So I did actually cover an entire painting with this adorable one. And then I have the cats. And then this one I got for a Christmas painting that I just ordered. And it actually has 3 different patterns, and it's all these adorable animals in stockings. I know, just freaking stop. Oh, so cute. And they come in these little envelopes. So yeah, 12 release papers for $10, guys. I'm like, what? And I have a discount code. It is checkout10, and you can save 10% if you use that. And can we just admire the amazingly cute package that it came in? Because a pink gradient, yes, please. It's like she was speaking directly to me. So this is a little release paper, I don't know if it's a hack, but this is what I do. So I still haven't covered all this. I literally just put this on. But because I was working on this section yesterday and I did not finish it all, and sometimes when you already have drills down, the release papers don't stick super great. So I will use a cover binder and just kind of slide it to hold it in place a little bit more, so the release paper doesn't fall off, the cat hair doesn't get onto it. You guys know what I mean. So that is it for my supplies. I'm going to pause you, recenter myself, and then we will get this party started. I'll be right back. Excuse you. Okay. All right. So we are going to get started on this painting. I am going to start with tea. So I would just want to say before I forget, welcome. If you are new, welcome back. If you are not new, I appreciate you being here. I hope everyone is having as good of a day as you can. Because, some days you just, yeah. Some days that it is what it is, if you know what I mean. We have had, it's been a dumpster fire week, honestly. So we started off, I think the last time I did a video, we were just starting to get some cold weather. Well, that cold weather continued, and over the weekend it was like 19 degrees, and there's no moisture whatsoever in the air. And my husband started coming down with something probably Thursday night. and he actually had just he went and got his flu shot at work. And he came home, and then Friday morning, he was just like, oh my gosh, I feel like death. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Stay away, because I don't need that in my life. Thank you. And yeah, so it got progressively worse as the day went on. And I was like, oh, great. Because I figured maybe he got something from, you know, our son, because he was home sick the day before, but then he felt fine on Friday to go to school. So I'm like, okay, that's good, because, you know, every day you stay home is just later and more behind you get at school, which is a problem we seemingly have. And so my husband, he's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I got hit by a bus. I'm like, well, you know, maybe it's just the flu shot. Yeah, I don't think it was the flu shot, because then Saturday morning, he had been like snoring all night long, like just the weirdest snores ever. I'm like, how are you making those noises? I don't even understand how you're making those noises. And he was just out of it on Saturday. And then Sunday morning, my son woke up and he's like, I feel like garbage. I'm like, ah. So the boys were sick. The girls seemingly are fine, but then, you know, you're trying to keep everybody sequestered and away from each other, because you don't need to share the love. But yeah, they were just not hungry and just loafing, and poor Duncan, he didn't know what to do, because like my son, he follows him, and so he was basically just laying on his bed with him all day, and like if he got up, he kind of would like look around like, okay, where's he going? And then he even hissed at my husband when my husband went in to check on him. He's like, don't be hissing at me, because I'm the adult here, thank you. You're not in charge, cat. So we had that, and it was so cold outside. It just, I mean, I don't remember it being that cold. I'm sure it's probably been that cold, but where we are in Washington, we don't get temps like that. And so then they kept threatening, you know, oh, it's going to snow. Oh, it's going to snow. And it's like, no, it's not going to freaking snow. I mean, there was no moisture. And our house has a heat pump, and it is an older house. So, you know, the insulation is probably crap. We did have to re-insulate the attic when we moved in. But the rest of the insulation in the house is probably, you know, garbage. Yeah, so you could just feel the cold air hitting the windows, and we have new windows, but you know, I mean, they can only do so much. So, yep. So Sunday, people were sick, and then luckily Monday was a no school day for us. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which I didn't realize. I thought everybody got Martin Luther King Jr. Day off from school. I feel like where we live, our school districts have always done that, but because I thought it was a federal holiday. I could be wrong. But then I heard someone else say something about, you know, it being Martin Luther King Jr. Day and their kids having school, and I'm like, what? I didn't even know. So maybe it's statewide. I don't know. Nobody gives me, you know, authority to make decisions about school and no school days. But it was nice because then he didn't miss a day of school. But then we missed Tuesday because still was not feeling good. Fever, you know, temp, just bleh, sore throat. And so he finally woke up around 10, and I was like, okay, you have a temp. We're just going to go to urgent care because I'm done with this. I'm not playing around. And, you know, because it's cold and flu season, so of course urgent care is packed because people can't just, you know, go see their regular doctor because their doctors don't have any available openings. And so I tried to check in, because you can check in online and then you don't have to sit there in the waiting room and wait. Well, the way they do the check-in online is that you can check in, but it's best to check in, you know, first thing in the morning, like at 8 o'clock when the check-in in line feature turns on. So it was, I think, 10:15, and it said that, you know, currently the wait time was about 120 to 145 minutes, which is like, you know, 2 hours. And then if I checked in online right now at, 10:15, that we could, they would probably text me to bring him in around 5 o'clock. I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, my kid doesn't feel good. He's tired. He looks like, he just got beat with a sadness stick. I'm like, no. So we packed up packed up the AirPods, packed up the cell phone and the portable charger. Cause of course the phone was dead. Why would it not be dead? And we sat there, but it was only an hour, maybe an hour-ish wait time, which was a lot better than, 2.5 hours. And so we, and it's weird because I don't know if they just don't want to enforce the whole, we want everybody to wear mask things, but so some people are wearing masks, some people aren't wearing masks. We wore masks because I was like, I don't need anybody else's germs coming into my house. Thank you very much. And I didn't really want to give anybody, whatever he had. And so, they didn't even so we got into the room and, they take the blood pressure, height, weight, all that jazz. And then they were like, well, let's do a COVID test and let's do a flu. So I'm like, oh, please don't be COVID. Because my husband did take a COVID test. We had to buy more, unfortunately, because all of ours were expired. And so they did the 2 nose swabs. And I figured they would give him a strep throat because kept saying his throat hurt. Well, they didn't even look at his throat while we were there. And they did the flu, they did the COVID. And, they came back and they're like, yep, he's got the flu. And I'm like, what? The flu? Now, we normally get flu shots, but this year, not so much. It's just, I kept forgetting. And then I was like, well, it's probably too late anyways. But yeah, seemingly it wasn't too late. So he has the flu and they were like, well, you cannot take any medicine or you can take some medicine. I was like, well, if he takes medicine, is he going to feel better soon? And they're like, well, maybe. I'm like, that's not really an answer, but okay. So they sent a prescription over. And so then he's like, I'm really hungry. I'm like, okay, what do you want? So you want a McDonald's? And I'm like, ugh, gross. Sorry, but our McDonald's, it's not good. It's gross. It's never hot. Even straight out of the drive-thru. Those fries are cold. And I was like, okay, if that's what you really want, I will get you McDonald's. So he's like, I want a quarter pounder meal. And I'm like, I've barely eaten any food this week or this last few days. I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I'm starving. Oops, it just spilled. Take a drink. I'm like, okay. So he got this ginormous meal and ate a fraction of it and was like, I don't think I can eat anymore. Get off there, you big turd. And I'm like, that's okay. He's like, I'm sorry. And I was like, it's okay. You probably thought you could eat it, but no. So, yeah. So yeah, flu. And then I didn't even think to ask the doctor if they were giving him pills or liquid, because I just figured 14, he can take pills. And so I didn't even think about it. And so I had finally got the stuff from the pharmacy and they were like, well, we have to mix it up. And I'm like, mix it up? And she's like, well, yeah, it's a liquid. I'm like, oh no. Because liquid medicine's never good. It's always gross, which is weird. Because in theory, if it's made for kids, you would think that it wouldn't taste like dog food, right? But no. So there's these 3 bottles of white, chalky, it looks gross. And I'm like, okay, great. So of course, he had to take some as soon as I got home. He took 1 sip and he started gagging. And I'm like, nope. He's like, I can't drink this. And I'm like, yes, you can. Just choke it down. Take some water afterwards. It's like taking a shot. You just take a shot of something after it. But yeah, no, not what I want to deal with. Nobody wants to see their kids sick and not feeling good. And so then I'm like, well, great. Now you're going to end up probably missing another day of school at least because he had a fever in the morning. And, you know, they're not really supposed to go back to school if they had a fever, have to be fever free for 48 hours. So I'm like, oh, dude. And the end of the semester is next week, which means they're, you know, doing all their last minute. Why is this not sticking? As soon as I'm doing something, you know, they're doing all their last minute assignments and all this stuff. And like, oh God, you're going to be missing stuff. All right, this is the alien putty. I am just trying to refresh this multiplacer a little bit. So I was kind of, you know, freaking out about that, going, okay, great. Well, then they started talking. Well, they were talking about it before, but Washington weather is weird. Like, you can't trust whatever they say because we have so many microclimates that it's a joke. Well, they were saying that it was going to be freezing rain and there could be a chance of snow. And there was no snow, but the rain did fall and the rain did freeze. And so we woke up on Wednesday morning and it had a thing that said school was 2 hours late. Well, I figured he wasn't going to school anyway, so that was not really, it wasn't really an issue for us. But then around 9 o'clock, then they sent an updated thing and said they were actually closing school. I was like, oh yes, 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 yes. You know, because most days, you know, I mean, for a lot of parents, that's a giant pain in the butt because just because school closed doesn't mean that, you know, like your work is going to be like, oh, that's okay. Go ahead, take the day off. You know, I mean, I get it. Some people can't afford for a school day to derail, you know, their work responsibilities. My day was already screwed. So I was like, well, at least technically you're not missing a bunch of assignments in school. So we stayed home, watched some supermarket sweep, you know, ate some pizza and just kind of chilled, hung out. And then this morning I was like, okay, 2 hours late again because it's still freaking icy out there. And, you know, we're trying to figure out, okay, do you go to school? Do you not go to school? Finally, it was like, you know what? Just forget it because I could tell he was tired and he still didn't feel, you know, 100%. So I was like, well, you're not sitting here playing video games all day, that's for sure. So if you're staying home, you're working. So we've been working on schoolwork today. And he wanted to go work on some stuff in his room. And I was like, okay, as long as you're actually, you know, doing it and not just messaging your friends for the next, you know, 3 hours. But yeah, it's so hard because, I mean, when I was that age, I was completely responsible for my own, you know, like, I don't know, like my own schoolwork. Nobody looked online to see what assignments I had missing or anything like that. Like, it was all on me. And so the fact that, you know, he does not take after me in that aspect at all. It's so confusing to me. I do not understand it. But I was worried because his computer needs to be replaced. So Sharky, our gray cat, I don't have a trash tray, so I'm just throwing him in my tray with my drills. It's fine. It's fine, guys. Before Christmas, I guess, which I didn't realize this was before Christmas, he bit the corner of his laptop, like the screen, and he punctured it. He punctured like a little tiny hole in the screen. Well, I guess since that happened, the screen has been getting progressively worse. And it's starting to have these weird glitch lines in the, you know, on the screen. So I'm sitting there going, oh my God, you know, like we just had to buy a new cell phone. So he's got the nicest cell phone in the house. He's got the newest cell phone. And I'm like, you are not getting a new computer because your computer, we purchased that 2020, you know, back when online schooling and all that crap was going on. So I was like, and we're an Apple family, so, you know, buying a new computer is, you know, a little more challenging because I don't understand PCs, and all of our stuff is Apple, and it just is easier to have Apples. So I got myself a new computer, and he's going to take my older MacBook Pro, because I'm not buying him a new computer if his computer is so beat up, guys. Like, I don't even understand how it can have so many dents and dings and scratches. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not spending good money on a brand new computer for you, because you will just destroy it. So I got a new computer delivered today from Costco. I'm so excited, but I have that fear, right? Like, you know, when you buy like a new cell phone or a new electronic device and you have to like transfer all of your information, you know, it's supposed to be easy. And a lot of times it is easy, but sometimes things can go wrong. And that's where I kind of start to panic a little. So tomorrow, because I'm not doing it alone, I do not need to screw it up. So I need to like back up everything onto, you know, the cloud up in the sky, and then make sure I know what the heck I'm doing so I can transfer all the information over to the new computer, which has like triple the freaking storage. I'm so excited for that. Then when all that is done, then kind of like reset the computer, or I don't know if you have to reset it. And then we'll move all of his stuff from his busted computer over to my old computer. And then we will be computerized. My husband goes, well, he goes, gee, I thought I was going to be the next one who actually got a new computer, but I guess not. Because he doesn't use a computer, guys. He's like, I use a computer at work. I don't need to use a computer at home. I mean, and we have computers that if he needed to use a computer, he could. But he doesn't really have anything. And he has a work laptop that he could bring home too. So he just likes to say crap like that to make me feel bad. But I'm like, I don't feel bad because I get the new computer. Yay! But I was kind of surprised. I didn't even have to sign for it. Like, the UPS man just left it on the front porch. Even though, you know, we were home. There's like 3 cars in the parking lot. Or not the parking lot. Well, you know, the driveway. But they didn't even wait to see if somebody was going to answer the door. They just left it and ran. But it is cold outside. Oh my gosh. I hope I haven't been bumping my head on the camera the entire time. It has been very cold, obviously. So with the freezing rain yesterday morning, our whole driveway and walkways were just ice. And so my husband decided he was going to go out and, you know, put some salt down, or well, not the salt, but the de-icer stuff. And, you know, I said, you know, maybe put some different shoes on, because he just put on these like slip-on shoes. And I was like, I don't think those are the best shoes to be wearing outside. But, you know, I'm a stupid woman. What do I know? And guess who fell down outside? Not me, because I ain't going outside in that. So the horrible part was I heard him fall. I was inside, you know, obviously, because I'm not going outside. And I heard him hit the cement. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, because you don't know when somebody falls and like slips. Like, you don't know if they twisted their ankle, they landed on their wrist. I mean, you just don't know. And so he was sitting there and I was like, are you okay? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And he just wasn't answering me. I'm like, you need to say something. And he's like, just leave me alone. Because that's his way of, you know, dealing with things like that. Is like, just leave me alone. Like, okay, you're fine then. But I was like, maybe, put shoes on, like, instead of slip-on shoes that you don't even have on all the way, you know, when you're going out on the slippery, you know, stuff. But no. So, but I'm just glad the UPS man didn't slip and fall and hurt himself, you know, because I don't need that. Nobody needs to have somebody slip and fall on their property. I don't know how that works with, like, you know, homeowners insurance, and that one is super curved. Get in there, whatever. But I don't want to find out either. No, thank you. So I am so used to working on this canvas with my light pad that the colors that these symbols look without the light pad look so much different. Like, this check mark that I'm doing, it looks a lot more like light purpley on the light pad. And so I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of them, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine, guys. I'll catch it eventually, right? Yeah, so new computer, bunch of sick days, but all the ladies are keeping our health up, so that's good. And I feel bad because I've pretty much banned my mom from coming upstairs. And if you're new, my mom lives with us. She has her own little mother-in-law apartment downstairs in kind of like the basement, but you know, it's like a whole little housing area for her. But because, you know, she's got, you know, COPD, and it's like, I am not risking that. So she gets pneumonia like super easy. So it's like, no, I will bring you whatever you want. I was wearing a mask when I went downstairs. I mean, unfortunately, by the time I realized that people were sick, she probably already got exposed too. But she did have the flu shot this year. So only her and my husband got the flu shots. I kept meaning to get them, but I'm one of those people who will end up feeling sick after I get the flu shot. And so every time I thought about getting the flu shot, it was not a convenient time for me to feel sick. So I didn't, and then I just kept putting it off, and then, yeah. So hopefully, knock on wood, that everybody is getting over their crap, because I don't want the flu. I don't have time for the flu. I got enough things I gotta deal with. I don't want flu. All right, let's make sure. I'm sure I forgot some, but it's okay. Oh, my first fear when, you know, my son was sick, because hang on, I gotta drink something because my throat is dry. When he was little, he would get scarlet fever when he would get strep throat. And I remember the first time we went to the doctor, and they did a strep test, and they were like, well, he has scarlet fever. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? What is scarlet fever? And they're like, well, it's just a variation of strep throat. And, you know, it sounded familiar, right? And I was like, all of a sudden I was like, isn't that something that people died from on the Oregon Trail? You know, like, oh, you've died of dysentery. You've died of scarlet fever. And they're like, well, yes, people did die of scarlet fever because they didn't have medicine, obviously. But I'm like, oh my gosh, what kind of old-timey disease is this? So, but basically scarlet fever is just strep throat, but you get a rash, and you know, you get like the strawberry spots on your tongue, and it just kind of, I don't know if it zaps more energy out of you, or maybe I just think that it zaps more energy out of you. I don't really know, but yeah, no, every time he would get like the bronchitis, what do you call it? Strep throat, it would always be scarlet fever. It's like, oh geez. So I thought that's what that was, because I had him open his mouth and look at his tongue, and I'm like, oh God, no, 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 no. What symbol is this? This is the little E symbol. Okay. But they didn't even, and I didn't even think about it while we were at the doctor's office, because I was so shocked that he had the flu, because I'm thinking like strep throat, scarlet fever, you know, dysentery. I didn't even realize until we got in the car, and I'm like, they didn't even look in your throat. They didn't even look in his mouth or open, you know, I don't know, check his gums or, you know, whatever they do. I'm like, that seemed really weird. But the doctor was like super paranoid about him keeping his mask on, which I guess makes sense if you have flu. But I'm like, they didn't even, you know, I mean, he did listen to his chest and, you know, do that. But I thought of it in the car, and I'm like, well, dang it. Because now how do I know if you don't also have, you know, scarlet fever or strep throat? Because, I mean, I'm sure you can have two things at once. I mean, it's not like it's exclusive or anything that I know of. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. So I'm just going to throw that out there, because I am not a doctor. I know I am probably missing a ton of these symbols, but it's fine. Oh my gosh, spilling. Yes. So what's the weirdest disease you've gotten? People may not want to answer that, put that on the internet. So, I mean, I can laugh about it now, but, you know, at the time it was like, what the heck? Okay, oh, see, I knew I missed one. Well, whatever. We'll get it later, guys. We'll get it later. Okay. Yes, there are so many pretty colors in this kit. Very, very, very lovely. And then, of course, you know, when people are sick, what do you have to do? Laundry. Laundry, 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 laundry. And our power company keeps emailing us and letting us know that they really want us to conserve the energy, which I get. I get it. But I have people who are sick in my house, so I don't really want to turn my heat down more than necessary. And, you know, they're like, please don't use, you know, big appliances like washers and dryers and dishwashers. And I'm like, okay, but I have a bunch of laundry that I need to wash because they've got, you know, germs all over them. So I've been trying to, you know, space out the laundry because you have the regular laundry. And then you have all the, you know, the extra sheets and blankets, and like, you know, you want to kind of switch them out so you're not breathing in all your sick germs and all that junk. So it's like, and it, of course, you know, like you don't actually talk to somebody when the power company calls, right? It's just this recorded message, and they're like, we're having a flex event. Please, you know, turn down your thermostat a few degrees and, you know, don't use any unnecessary power. It's like, I want to talk to a real person because I want to ask them, like, hey, are the executives like turning down the power in their giant mansions? And are they turning off some of their things? Like, maybe they can just not use internet for a few hours. So I doubt it. But that's just me being salty because I have not slept well in days, because it sounds like I have a chainsaw snoring next to me, and you know, then you just have that fear in the back of your mind of like, you know, somebody's gonna wake up and be sick. So I don't sleep well anyways, so when people are sick, I really don't sleep well. And then of course it like completely like tears my stomach, you know, into knots, and because then I'm worried about everybody, and so then it's like I can barely eat, and it's like you'd think I was sick too, but I just dropped that somewhere. I don't know. Oh, that one had a little nubbin on it. I'm just gonna put him in there. Just throw him in the tray. It's fine. I'll empty the tray when I'm all done. So I did finish Harold the Fancy Goldfish. That's exciting. He's a little snack size for sure. Yeah, I have thoughts about him, obviously, because I have thoughts and opinions about everything. So I will share those when I do my post review and kit down. I will probably record that sometime next week, because yeah, I kind of feel like I need to play catch up with all the adult responsibility type things that have kind of been put to the side this week. Living in a state of limbo. So, but my husband did go to Costco today, because I was supposed to go to Costco, but then kids home, and then I was just like, ugh. And it was cold, and I didn't really want to go outside. So he went to Costco, which is probably better, because we probably spend less money when I don't go to Costco. Although every once in a while, he will go and he will come back with stuff, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Normally, I'm the one who, you know, sees like an infomercial style setting, and I'm like, ooh, what do they have? You know, I could use some new knives. Like, I love buying blenders. But the last time we got suckered into something at Costco, it was like this barbecue / smoker something or other. I don't really understand. I'm not allowed to touch that kind of stuff because I'll either burn myself or I'll break it. But my husband actually got suckered in because he was talking to the guy about hunting, and Like, yeah, that was, you got played. But yeah. And then he ended up letting his dad have it because he didn't use it. So my weakness is the clothing section because I like comfy clothes. And they have comfy clothes. See, I missed one of those. I knew I would. Oh, I missed another one. I swear, some of these colors, you don't notice them until you do other ones, and then you're like, oh, yeah, and they look totally different in color versus with the light pad and not the light pad. So that's my excuse anyways, guys. I'm sticking with it. All right, let's see. Let's put you back. What are we gonna do? Let's do the hazmat symbol. Yeah, well, so with the laptop thing, right? Like, first thought was like, maybe we can get the laptop screen repaired, you know? But I'm like, okay, well, how much does that cost? And my son said he looked it up and it was like $500. And I'm like, does that mean it's going to be fixed for sure? Because I don't want to spend $500 on a new laptop screen, and maybe that's not even what's wrong with it. You know, I mean, God only knows. He probably whacked that thing so many times playing virtual reality in his room, because him and his friends will like be playing virtual reality, but then they'll also have like a, I don't know, a chat thread open like on the laptops, and yeah. I'm amazed we have internet some days for how much internet these kids use. Because it's like, they can't just like play a video game. They have to play a video game and watch a movie and, you know, be talking to somebody. It's like, man, did not have any of that stuff when I was your age. Okay, what is going on? Where? I saw it. It went somewhere. There it is. I found it. Ha ha ha. I cannot believe it's almost February. Like, what? How is it almost February? I don't even understand. I feel like January just hit. It's like I'm looking at my calendar and I'm going, oh my gosh, there are so many appointments in this dumb month and the next month that it's ridiculous. I was supposed to take our cats to the vet tomorrow for their yearly checkup, and I was like looking at it and I'm like, you know what, I cannot mentally do that tomorrow. So they called, because I was going to actually call them, but you know, I kept forgetting, and they called to confirm, and I was like, actually, could we reschedule? And she's like, well, it's kind of far out, and I'm like, they seem healthy, they're fine, so got to reschedule that at least. So that's one less responsible thing. And of course, you know, I'm the one that has to take them there, and they just meow the whole way there, and then they look all sad and depressed, and ugh. And it's expensive too. I mean, just to walk in the door, it's like $50. Like, good God. But we kind of have to, because Sharky's had urinary crystal issues before, and so we kind of have to keep on track of that, because it's cheaper to go to the doctor once a year than it is to go to the emergency vet. That is for sure. I don't even remember how much it was just to walk into the door of the emergency vet. I think it was like $130 just to have, like, I had to pay just to have them agree to look at him. That wasn't even, you know, anything else. That was just, yep. But when you love your pets, you pay it. I know there was quite a bit of chitter chatter in my Facebook group, which if you have not, please consider joining. We're a lively bunch about weather, and it's just crazy, like how how cold it is for some people when it's not really the norm, and, you know, like storms and, you know, like oceans destroying things, and it's just crazy. Like, you know, people say climate change is not real. And I'm like, yeah, stuff is definitely going on though. I mean, I don't know what exactly, you know, is bringing it on per se, but something's going down, guys. Something is. And then I read some article about how like scientists were shocked to discover a bunch of tiny little nano microplastic things in bottled water samples. And it's like, well, yeah, no kidding, because plastic is literally in everything we have now. And so of course bottled water is going to be full of tiny bits of plastic. I mean, they've done studies where they've, you know, like had like animals that, you know, have like died and, you know, beached themselves or whatever. They're full of tiny bits of microscopic plastic that you can't even see with the naked eye anyways. It's like they even did studies where they, you know, looked at human tissues, and we are full of tiny bits of plastic. So it's like, no, there's no getting away from it. We're all full of tiny plastics. Well, then now they're saying because of the kinds of clothing that we wear, and that, you know, the clothing is not, you know, sustainable and, you know, whatever. So now when we wash our clothes, we're releasing even more bits of, you know, plastic fibers, because all of our clothing is made of plastic now. Heaven forbid, like, things are made with natural materials. But yeah, now everything's, all of the things from, you know, our polyesters and our fleeces and our spandexes and all those things are all now going into the ocean, and they're, you know, going into our groundwater, and they're going into the food supply and all that stuff. So by the time our kids have kids, they're just going to be like 100% artificial materials. Yeah. But, well, then, you know, people are like, well, everyone needs to stop doing this and we need to stop doing that. And it's like, well, but other things need to happen too. Like, you know, some people, you know, only drink out of bottled water because, you know, they prefer it, you know, I mean, whatever, that's, you know, your business, not mine. But the corporations that are making these plastic bottles for, you know, things that we're literally going to use for what, like an hour or less and then throw away, I mean, they're the ones that need to be looking into how to make the things that they're producing better, because, you know, we can try to recycle all we want, but I mean, I know, and we don't live like in a, I mean, I don't know, we don't live in like a big city, but we're definitely close to some big cities, and there are things that we can't recycle just because the recycling plants can't take it. So, I mean, just because it has a, you know, a number on it, like, oh, look, it's a number 6 plastic, that means nothing. That means, yes, if your recycling facility takes that, then that is the number of the type of plastic, but that means nothing. Because most places don't, at least around here, they don't take plastics and, you know, recycling things based on numbers like that. They take kind of like more like, I don't know, functionality, I think. Like plastic bottles, but not the lids. You know, like yogurt containers or this or that, but, you know, it can't have this on it, and if it has this material in it, then it can't be taken. And so, yeah, they gotta come up with some better things, because, I mean, I know people will say, well, that's not my problem because I'm gonna die in blah blah years. And it's like, well, yeah, but if you care about your, you know, your children and their children and your grandchildren and all those people, like, you know, maybe, I mean, you know, there's things that could be done. But it is an imperfect solution no matter what, I will say that. For everything you think you're doing, like, you know, good, then you end up finding out, like, oh no, that was actually damaging the environment more. It's like, oh crap. So, or for everything you watch that, you know, makes it sound like this is the better alternative, then there's a video saying, no, actually, that's the worst, or that's the worst thing you could possibly be doing. So it just, I can see why people just are like, forget it. I don't even want to make the effort because it's hard. Man, I'm just Debbie Downer today, guys. Sorry about that. Like I said, it's been a week. It has been a week. I did get to do a little bit of diamond painting though, while everyone was sequestered in their own, you know, personal space bubbles. So that was nice. But then our internet, I swear, like I got home from the urgent care and I'm like, okay, well, I gotta wait for the doctor's office to, you know, send the prescription over to the grocery store. I'm like, I'll just do some diamond painting. But because it's been really cold and, you know, rainy and cloudy and all that, so the living room's a little dark. So I naturally, you know, try to ask the Amazon robot. I'm not going to say her name so I don't trigger anybody's Amazon robots. And I said, you know, turn on the lights, because all of our lamps in our living room have the special Amazon bulbs in them, because we don't really have overhead lights because the house was built in the 60s. So people didn't have overhead lights. Everybody just had a ton of lamps. But the problem with lamps is that then you have to have, you know, plug-ins. And most houses from the 60s have jack plug-ins. So we have all these plug-ins and we have all these lamps that are plugged in. And so I asked the Amazon robot to, you know, turn on the lights so I can do a little diamond painting. Because I've got an overhead kind of light, but it's a plug-in light that like is, you know, strung up and it's hanging there. And then I have like a really big kind of like floor lamp. And then I have a little like kind of freestanding, like, I don't know what they're called. Kind of like those craft lamps that have the magnifying glass thing attached to them. I don't use the magnifying thing. But that one is the only one that doesn't have an Amazon bulb. And so I ask her and I'm like, hey, you know, turn on the lights. And she's like, I'm sorry, I can't do that right now. And I'm like, the hell you can't? Like, no, sorry, but nobody said you could talk back to me. And ours has an Australian accent because my husband thought it was funny. So, you know, she sounds fun. And I'm like, okay, so I ask again. And then all of a sudden I'm like going, oh, so our internet provider texted us earlier in the morning and said that they were having some issues. They were going to be working on the internet to, you know, make it more awesome, as one does. And I was like, dang it. So they had been working on the internet and it was not fixed. And so I couldn't watch anything like on YouTube, and even like my phone Wi-Fi was, you know, spotty. And so I was trying to like just use my light pad and my other light, but it was really dark. And I'm like, seriously, I just want to do one little thing for myself today, because I just spent, you know, almost 2 hours total in urgent care, and I'm gonna have to go to Safeway. I'm gonna have to stand in line. I'm like, ugh. So yeah, finally it came, like the internet kind of came back online, I guess you could say. I don't know what time, like 4, which was good because it was starting to get dark, and our living room is really dark. I mean, we have a bunch of windows, but when it's dark outside, that, you know, that does nothing. Oops, that did not even have a diamond on it. So, hopefully people are on the mend, because I am done taking care of sick people. And then, of course, my fear is the weekend's going to come and I'm going to get sick. But there is literally nothing else I can do about it now. So if I get sick, I get sick. Let's see, is there one more color? Let's see this little crescent moon. Let's see, this is, I think there's just a few of these. Yeah, this part right here is like kind of like a sun area. There's actually a little bit of color blocking in there, which I did not have a diamond on there, which I'm excited about. because there has not been much color blocking. I think the most diamonds of the same color I've put down is maybe 5 or 6. There may have been an area where like I did like an 8 or a 9, but for the most part, no. But it is looking really cool. I will say that. I am pleased that I got it. That is not a kit that I normally would probably get, just based on the sheer amount of confetti, but I kind of didn't realize there was so much confetti when I bought it. Which, you know, sometimes we have happy accidents, guys, just like Bob Ross. Happy little trees, happy little accidents. So I don't think I had anything else really exciting happen to me this week. Very, very chill up in here, that is for sure. And I don't know if I want anything exciting to happen, honestly, because if exciting means stressful, then I'm good. I just keep hitting my head on this camera. I don't know what I did or why I put it at the angle I did, but yep, winning. I'm a winner, winner, chicken dinner. Yep. All right, guys, I am going to call it good because I got to go make sure my kid is actually doing schoolwork and not just, you know, goofing off. So that is it. If you have not, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, hearting, farting, doing all the things. Join my Facebook group. It is listed down in the description box below. I will also list the canvas information, my supply information, coupon code, all the stuff, and there's probably something I've forgotten, but I'm not going to remember it now. So until next time, big awkward hugs. Bye, guys.